Hey, friends. All right, so today is actually going to be hopefully a brief training. I'm going to try to keep it under 25 minutes. And with this training, I kind of want to completely revolutionize how you think of all this internal stuff that seems to get in our way, like the overwhelm, the freezing, the procrastinating, the self sabotaging, all of that stuff. And I also want to give you a couple powerful truths about what it really takes to to continuously create these next level in terms of our growth and our results. And then I'm also going to give you kind of like what that looks like in terms of the 5 steps that we follow to continuously up level ourselves, our business, and create extraordinary results. So here's your first truth: your business grows with you. So as your nervous system expands, as your energy expands, as your thinking and your identity expands, as your leadership expands, so does your business, so do your results. You, my friend, are the cause, and your results are the effect. So when you work on the cause, aka you, the effects you create automatically follow, they shift. You are the common denominator. You are the common denominator of all the success and all the failures that you've ever created. Isn't that a little terrifying? Like, this is a truth that literally scares the shit out of me. Because when we fully anchor in that we each are the cause of everything we create, we are the common denominator in all our experiences, then we can't hide or blame anything outside ourselves. So, this kind of truth is meant to be scary, and it should be scary, but it is also the kind of truth that allows you to become the you, capital you that actually has the courage and the capacity to create and hold the extraordinary growth and results that you desire. This truth is what allows you to become the leader you need to be to hold what's coming for you, to hold that next level of expansion. So, as stated today, I'm going to take you through this brief training, and I'm going to kind of take you through the 5 steps that I see all successful entrepreneurs and leaders move themselves, walk themselves through to rewire their entire lives and business from the inside out and become unstoppable. But before I do that, I'm going to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Ilsa. Feel free to please say hi to me. I will come back and connect with you. And it's also really good for the algorithm. It helps more people see this kind of content. So I appreciate you. Personally, I'm a total spiritual nerd. I'm a bookworm. I love to dance. I love to spend time in nature. I'm a dog mama. I live in Boulder, Colorado with my husband. And we've been here maybe 11, 12 years at this point. And before that, South Florida. So it's been quite a change. Professionally, for the last 20 plus years at this point, I've worked as a psychotherapist, an expansion expert, and a strategist for purpose driven entrepreneurs and leaders. I teach my clients how to rewire their nervous system, their brains, their lives, their bodies, their businesses for easeful growth, for absolutely fulfilling, impossible results in a way that feels really deeply nourishing and peaceful to them, and removes all of that friction, all of that second guessing, that stressing out, that sabotaging themselves so that they can have more profits, more wealth in a way that feels joyful. At the end of this brief training, I will give you 2 ways for you and I to start working together if you desire to step into that next level of expansion, both internally and personally, as well as externally, professionally, financially. And if you're curious or you can't stay until the end of this training, you can check out the description of this video. I've got a couple links for in how you and I can connect to start working together. All right, let's get started. So the very first truth that I gave you right at the beginning of this was that you are the cause and your results are the effect. You are the common denominator of every experience you create. And essentially, as you grow and as you expand, your results grow and your results expand. The flip side of that is as you contract, then your results also contract. Your business also contract. Essentially, the more contracted you are, the more you're constricting the flow, both your internal flow and your external flow. Now, I want to give you another uncomfortable truth. If what you are doing to grow yourself, to grow your business, to grow your results, to grow your money isn't a little bit terrifying, then you're playing too small. Now, there's some good news with that. Feeling scared, feeling overwhelmed is actually good. Most of us have been conditioned to stay away from that. And part of the work that I do with clients is I teach them how to actually use the fear, use the frozenness, use the overwhelm as the springboard for that next level. I teach them how to alchemize it so that rather than being in their way, they become part of the way and they become an ally on their journey to progress. So feeling scared, having self-doubt, feeling overwhelmed and frozen is good. It's actually proof that you are heading in the right direction. It's proof that you are expanding yourself and your capacity for what you want to create. Because if you're not experiencing any of that, then you are playing it safe, essentially. And when you play it safe and you play it small, then your results tend to also be small. Remember, you are the cause, your results are the effect. So in the end, feeling overwhelmed, doubting yourself, feeling frozen, procrastinating, all that shit that gets in the way of your progress and your results, they're not the problem in and of themselves, especially when you have the right tools, the right practices in place to essentially lovingly free yourself and hold yourself through it all. Because it is that process of walking yourself through all of these things that creates the version of you you need to become to hold the results you desire. That overwhelm, that doubt, that procrastination, that perfectionism, all that those sabotaging patterns that, by the way, we all have, they are the pressure that turns the coal into a diamond. They are literally, when you have the right process in place, the very thing that creates the structure and the foundation for you being able to hold in a way that's sustainable, continuous expansion, the results you want, but also continuous expansion. So as we learn to hold ourselves through our own doubts, through our sense of not feeling enough, through our fears, our overwhelm, our disappointments, when we learn to essentially lead ourselves past our resistance, past the procrastination, the perfectionism, the hiding, and all these other patterns, that's when we actually start to shift. Like the cause in us starts to shift. And when we start to shift, then our results start to shift. As we learn to regulate our nervous system, to retrain our brain for a new paradigm, as we learn to shift and uplift and recalibrate our energy level, our capacity, our moods, our feelings, our states, everything in us as well as around us starts to grow and expand. Our visibility, our authority, our client attraction, our bank account, and our ability to receive money and be paid well without shame, without apology, all of that actually starts to grow as well, because we are working our own internal muscle of courage, of certainty, of trust, of confidence. And as we grow and practice that internal capacity, then our external capacity also grows and increases. The strength, our strength in being able to create and hold what we desire increases. So as you anchor in your power, because everything I just described, you being able to move yourself skillfully, powerfully through everything that makes you feel small and holds you back, is you claiming your power. So as you claim and anchor in your power, in your certainty, essentially your impact starts to become powerful and undeniable. So now let me take you through these 5 steps, these 5 processes, these 5 steps that I see every entrepreneur and leader that I know, whom I have worked with, colleagues, myself, people I know who have essentially actualized big goals, take themselves through and essentially become unstoppable. The first step is you decide what it is that you want to create. It's a decision. You claim some kind of courageous goal. Once you have that decision, then you create an offer or a pathway there, and you start to take the actions. And you could say, well, these are 3 steps. Yes, but they're actually 1 step. You decide what you want, you create the pathway there, and you start to take actions through that pathway or for that pathway. So essentially, you're creating your roadmap to the results you want. And you're starting to move and be in motion towards the expansion that you desire. That's actually the first step. You decide, you create or design a pathway, you take action. The second step in here is you start to pay attention and stay aware and notice whenever you start to doubt yourself, whenever you start to sabotage your progress, whenever you start to get in your own way, lose momentum, start playing small, start hiding, start taking your foot off the gas. And when you notice that, you use practices that you have access to meet everything in you that feels afraid, that feels not good enough, that has doubt, that is in resistance and is sabotaging your progress because of that contraction. And you use these practices to bring your nervous system and your brain out of freeze, out of sabotage, out of scarcity, and to come back into regulation, liberation, expansion, and re-anchor your identity to be in alignment with what you want to create. Because when you can do that, that is literally when you can get back in flow. You can get back in motion. You can start moving. You start over and you start moving forward again. Here's another truth, which if you've followed me, you've heard me say this. Strategy is only 20% of what creates your results. It's that internal shift, that sense of leadership, that is the 80% that determines what you create. That's why I say you are the cause. You are the common denominator. You are the answer to your own questions. The answer is never out there. It's about you being able to move yourself, lead yourself powerfully through everything inside you that is still conditioned to feel small and not good enough. And if you do not have practices that you can rely on, that you can depend on to literally move you out of that constriction, that contraction, that sense of scarcity and lack, and back into that sense of regulation, liberation, expansion, then at the very least, you and I need to have one of my 90-minute Wired for Wealth Intensive, because in there, I will teach you one of my most powerful practices that in minutes shows you how to take yourself through that entire process of moving from contraction all the way back into expansion so that you can stop sabotaging yourself and kind of get back into flow of things. So first is you decide what you want to create. Emmett, let me close my door. My husband's coming home, so the dogs are barking. I lost my train of thoughts. Oh yeah. So at the very least, what you and I need to do is at least have that 90-minute one-on-one intensive so I can teach you that process directly so that you have something you can use whenever you get yourself into that sense of constriction. So step one is you decide what you want, you create the roadmap, and you start to take action. Step two is you become very aware of yourself, not your results, not what's happening out there, what's happening in here. And you start to notice every time you get in your own way, every time you start to doubt yourself and you start to act in a way that reinforces that doubt, and you take yourself through the practices that you have access to that will restore and re-engage your own flow. So that's two. Number three is actually super simple. Is once you're back in that sense of centeredness, groundedness, wholeness, after doing these practices, then you literally go back to step one. You literally, with intentionality, recommit to your initial goal. You redecide, yes, this is what I'm creating and this is the way I'm moving. And you start showing up again from this place of trust and certainty and conviction. And you take the next aligned, courageous step, the action that is aligned with the goal you're trying to create. Step four is you're kind of back to step two. And this is the process, my friends. Like over and over, really, this is a two-step process. I kind of have it as a step 5 in the way I wrote it, but it is a two-step process. You decide, you design, and you anchor and start to take action in that decision and that design. You check yourself, you stay in contact with yourself, and you lead yourself through every constriction that will undeniably show up. Then you re-decide and re-anchor in your original goal. and you get back in motion and in flow. And then whenever, once again, your energy, your clarity, your confidence starts to crash, because it will, because you're human, then you essentially go back to these practices so you can reclaim and step back into safety, into trust, into confidence, and you can come back to expansion so you can get back in motion. This is the truth. Constriction or contraction constricts flow. Expansion allows us to be in motion and restores flow. When you are in flow, then your results start to flow. This is why I say you are the cause, you are the common denominator, and everything you create is the effect, is a mirror, a ripple of you. Step 5 here, the first 4 steps is the process of creating results. You decide, you design, you have a plan of action, you get in motion. Every time you start to falter, to wobble, to get small, you do your own internal practice to come back into expansion, and then you come back, you redecide, you re-anchor in your goals, you start to take action and get in motion once again. And you kind of do these first 4 steps over and over and over until you start to see results flow. And this is the piece of this process that is about surrender, because we don't really have control over how quickly results show up. The only thing I can tell you for sure is that if you have a clear destination, you have a clear roadmap of some simple actions you want to take daily to move the needle, and you are in consistent action with those steps, and anytime you falter, anytime you wobble, anytime you squish yourself, you actually do the work, the internal work, to come back into expansion and to come back in motion, then at some point it's inevitable, results will start to flow in. Now, step 5 is essentially when results starts to flow, you have to keep leading and holding yourself powerfully. You have to keep doing the work. Now you're not doing the work around the creation of results. Now you're doing the work around capacity and receivership and being able to hold the results. You have to teach your brain, teach your nervous system, teach your energy to essentially feel safe with more, to stay grounded, centered, regulated in expansion as you expand. And you do that until expansion actually starts to feel natural and normal. Because here's an unknown fact: expansion, receiving more, holding more, can be extremely overwhelming and triggering. And people don't want to think about that. They just want more. They want more clients. They want more money. They want to finally break through and be visible. They want all of that stuff. They want to have the money to bring in more team members. But they don't realize that actually when you receive your results, the work isn't over. That's when you actually start to work again at a next level. You're normalizing that next level of expansion so that you don't sabotage it. Essentially, you normalize it so you don't sabotage it. If you don't normalize it, then it will lead to sabotage. You won't be able to hold it sustainably, and that's when the whole thing starts to crash. I've worked with quite a few people who can reach goals, powerful goals, but then there's always tends to be some kind of whiplash after. They can't hold them, they get sick, the whole thing implodes. There's a kind of a crash and burn after they reach their goals. So this is the process of not only reaching the goals from a really empowered, anchored place, but it is also the process of holding goals and increasing your capacity so that then you can up level to yet the next level of expansion after that. So creating powerful, extraordinary results is a journey. It's a journey of love and trust. You learn to love and trust yourself in this process. You learn to love and trust life and feel supported by life. You learn to love and trust your highest level work and the entirety of your business and feel supported by your business. You learn to love and trust the results you desire and the journey there, every step of the frickin' way, all the way to the end of your goal and beyond, all the way to creating what potentially once felt impossible for you. The way you create the impossible, so to speak, is you become an impossibly expanded version of you. And you use every little contraction as the springboard. You know, my favorite saying, contraction is not the absence of expansion. Contraction is a request for expansion, and it is the pathway to expansion. This is that saying in action. It's the process of that. In the end, and here's the truth, in the end, the goal is not really about the goal. Like the results you create, they are the happy ripple of that internal shift. So it's really not about the results. It's about the progress and the process of your own becoming. That is self-leadership in action. That is the process of becoming sovereign, of becoming a self-sourced CEO. Your source of power is here. Your source of feeling worthy and whole is here. It's not in the results. The results are like the cherry on top. And I know probably if you're watching this, you don't feel that way. You feel like when I have the results, I will feel worthy. When I have the results, I will feel safe. When I have the results, I will feel like I'm finally seen and valued and appreciated. When I have the results, I will feel powerful, accomplished, confident. But it's the other way around. When you do the work to feel powerful, to feel accomplished, to feel confident, to feel worthy, to feel valuable and appreciated from in here, to feel like you have the authority from within, that's when the ripples start to happen and the results starts to be created and flow in. This process is literally how you keep leveling up and showing up bigger and creating bigger and bigger results and receiving in a bigger and bigger way. As you embody this process of holding yourself, leading yourself powerfully, of anchoring yourself in expansion and using every contraction that comes in the way as your pathway to expansion, everything starts to shift. Everything starts to expand, and the results become inevitable. So I'm going to repeat it one last time. You are the common denominator. You are the cause. Your results are the effect. Work on the cause, and the effect ultimately follows. It's undeniable, it's inevitable. This, what I talked about today, is literally the exact process that I take you through in my luminescence program. Luminescence is the perfect combination of rewiring and identity work with strategy so that you can essentially create the extraordinary results you desire in your life and in your business from a place of ease and flow. So in luminescence, we will create that first step. We will decide on a powerful goal. We will design a custom, tailor-made process or campaign of some super simple steps that you can take daily to move the needle. We will decide on the actions and kind of design that. And then I will provide you through practices, through processes, through embodiment practices, as well as brain retraining experiments. I will provide you with everything you need, all the nervous system rewiring, all the brain training, all the energy capacity upgrades, and the recalibration you need to never stay stuck, to never get in your own way, and to be able to use everything that comes up, that doubt, that sense of unworthiness, that overwhelm, that feeling drained, that feeling disappointed when you don't get results as quickly as you want. Everything essentially that haunts you and gets in the way of your progress. I'll show you all sorts of ways to use those and alchemize those to become more and more powerful, to become the most peaceful force in your life and in your business, so that you essentially stop sabotaging your progress and stop getting in the way of your results. So if you're ready to increase your capacity so that you can be seen in your greatness, so that you can enroll more clients, so that you can hire the right team members and train them and trust them from this place of ease, so that you can expand your income and your profits in a way that feels deeply nourishing, deeply satisfying, then I would love to work with you. I would love to help you take your life, your business, your leadership, your wealth to new levels, and to help you figure out how to always be in flow, how to restore and expand the flow and be in resonance with what you want to create, to be essentially to use your nervous system as your partner on this journey to that next level, both internally in terms of leadership, but that next level externally in terms of receivership. And so here are the two ways you and I can get started with that. The first option is you and I can get on a free enrollment call. That's 20, 25 minutes. I'm going to answer all your questions. We're going to figure out, is Luminescence the right program for you? Is there something else that would feel more aligned with what you're looking for right now or with your budget? And when we have figured that out, we'll get started. So this enrollment call is really there for you if you know you want to work with me, you're ready. By the way, working with me ranges between $1,000 for a shorter 1 month kind of intensive with me, all the way to $7,500 or so for a 6 months. Luminescence essentially is a 6 month deep dive program. All my programs include one-on-one work as well as some powerful practices that you can use to totally rewire yourself and anchor in your expansion. Now, if you're not quite ready to dive in the deep end and you want to experience working with me first, I offer a 90-minute one-on-one intensive that I called Wired for Wealth. And this is for you if you're new to me, essentially, because you're going to get a discount of 55% off for that initial call. During that call, you and I are going to figure out exactly what's been holding you back. What are the wounds? What are the contractions in your nervous system that are holding you back and are essentially blocking the results and the growth that you desire? Then I will take you through step by step my hatching process so that you know exactly how to get yourself from this place of contraction and stuckness to regulation first, then liberation second, and then expansion and flow finally. And you can use this practice in every area of your life, and it works in minutes. So it is the most powerful thing I've created, or it's one of the most powerful things I've created. And it is what I include in this initial session because to me, I am here to change the world. And if I can get this one and only practice in as many hands as possible, I am literally unlocking people's power and people's, I don't know, I'm looking for a word, I can't find it. But essentially, I'm unlocking you and your ability to be the master of your fate. Maybe that's the word. I'm unlocking people's mastery, people's ownership of themselves and the life they want to create. So let's unlock you so you can unlock the results that you want and become the most powerful and peaceful force in your life and in your business. If you click in the description of this videos, you will see the 2 links for these 2 options. I have also included my Wired for Wealth mini course that's free. And that comes with a training, kind of a deep dive 1-hour training. And it comes with a few practices that I've literally taken out of one of my emergence program, essentially. So you can use those that will also give you a sense of this work if you're not quite ready to jump into either a program directly with me or even this 90-minute session and learn the hatching process for yourself. All right, I'm sending you love. I hope this was helpful and kind of showing you the whole journey of what it takes to really revolutionize your leadership and your receivership and create a lot more wealth from this place of regulation and liberation. Mwah.